This episode of Very Really Good is sponsored by Zocdoc.
I'm getting older, my health is becoming more of a priority in my life. But finding the right doctor is a hassle. It's exhausting, and being someone with anxiety, it's very overwhelming to talk to someone on the phone. That's why I'm very grateful for today's sponsor, Zocdoc.
First, I want to tell you about my sponsor, Zocdoc, a free website where you can easily search and compare high-quality in-network doctors so you can find the right one for you.
This episode is brought to you by Zocdoc. Shane, have you ever needed to go to the doctor but kept pushing it off because you said to yourself, oh, it'll heal on its own. I don't need to go to the doctor right now. I don't know which doctor to go to. Has this ever happened to you?
That's me to the T.
You've probably seen Zocdoc ads everywhere lately. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, podcasts, even billboards sometimes. You know, the app that lets you find a doctor, see real-time availability, and book an appointment in seconds without ever picking up the phone. But here's the thing. Zocdoc isn't just another booking app, it's become one of the biggest players in American healthcare, powering millions of appointments every month, partnering with huge medical groups, and now even showing up as the behind-the-scene engines for other big sites like Healthgrades. So today, we're doing a full deep dive. How did this company go from a tiny Manhattan dentist booking startup to $1 billion healthcare powerhouse? What's the real story behind the growth? And yeah, what about all the complaints, the billing controversies, and the scam accusations that keep popping up on the Better Business Bureau and Reddit? Well, go grab an apple, and today, sit back as we look back into Zocdoc, the app that's quietly reshaping how America finds a doctor. So let's start at the beginning. Zocdoc was founded in 2007 in New York City by three guys: Oliver Karaz, who was a former McKinsey consultant and physician, Nick Ganju, and Cyrus Masumi. The idea came from Masumi's own frustrating experience. He had a burst eardrum while traveling and couldn't find a doctor with an open appointment. And right there, he noticed a pain point, literally. Patients were stuck calling around or waiting weeks while doctors had empty slots. So they launched with a simple mission: give power to the patient. At first, it was just for dentists in Manhattan. You'd go on the site, put in your insurance and location, and instantly see real-time availability. No more calling 17 offices and getting put on hold. Doctors paid a subscription fee to list their slots, while patients got to use it for free. And early funding came quickly, like a $3 million investment from Coastlaw Ventures in 2008, plus big names backing the company too, like Jeff Bezos and Salesforce's Mark Binoff. By 2011, they were in over 30 cities. By 2014, they had 5 million users booking every month. And in 2015, they hit a $1.8 billion valuation, the third highest for any New York startup at the time. But here's where it gets a little interesting. In late 2015, Cyrus Masumi was replaced as CEO by co-founder Oliver Karaz. And as it turns out, the company was burning cash fast. $43 million in 2015 alone, leaving growth for the company completely stalled. So here's where they made a huge pivot. They switched from flat subscription fees to charging doctors only when a new patient actually booked through the platform. It was a little risky, but it paid off, eventually turning profitable by late 2019. They survived COVID by launching telehealth fast. Today, Zocdoc has over 175 calendar integrations with major HER and PM systems and powers real-time booking for partners like Healthgrades. It's no longer just a marketplace. It's becoming the infrastructure layer for how America finds and books care. So how did Zocdoc blow up from a nice little booking site to everywhere you look? Well, a few big things. First, the user experience just works. I mean, patients love the real-time availability, insurance filtering, and the fact that you can book literally 24/7 without calling anyone. According to their own 2025 patient report, millennials and Gen Z make up 76% of bookers. These generations expect convenience everywhere, and healthcare was one of the last places that sucked. Second, they went hard on partnerships. In December 2025, they announced a major deal with Healthgrades. So now when patients search for doctors on Healthgrades, they see real-time slots powered by Zocdoc. That alone unlocks 16.5 million hours of bookable appointments in the first 90 days. Third, the numbers are just insane. Our 2025 report shows explosive growth for large medical groups using Zocdoc, from 5,600 new patients in 2020 to 56,000 in 2023. And average annual revenue per high-performing patient on Zocdoc, over 2,300. Yeah, meaning some people, that's just crazy. They're helping practices scale fast with measurable growth tactics, unlimited provider profiles, and adjustable goals. On the patient side, the report is full of insights too. 67% of bookers are young women who have basically become healthcare's power users. People want in-network care, fast access, and real connections with their doctor. So, Zocdoc positioned itself as the solution to all of that. Add in the telehealth boom during COVID and smart marketing, and suddenly Zocdoc feels like the default way to book care. It's in your feed, on your phone, and now behind the scenes of other big sites. Which brings us to our last point, the marketing. Zocdoc was made by millennials, for millennials, and eventually Gen Z. You know, the chronically online, overly socially anxious generations. Before Zocdoc was everywhere, most of us could all relate to that feeling or meme of not wanting to call the doctor or dentist even in your 20s. You know, just have mom do it still or something. They capitalized on that, with them creating ads that are meant to be relatable for younger generations, and of course, sponsoring every single YouTuber and podcaster we watch. Here's where the story gets messy, and why some doctors and patients are kind of pissed. If you dig into some Better Business Bureau complaints, Reddit threads, and real provider reviews, a clear pattern emerges. A lot of the gripes come from small practices and solo providers who say Zocdoc charges them for invalid bookings. Patients who use the wrong insurance, no-showed, or canceled properly, but the doctor still got billed. One practice owner documented case after case where patients booked with managed care plans that weren't in-network or used multiple fake names. They flagged it and canceled within a 24-hour window, exactly per Zocdoc's own policy, but they still got hit with all the fees. They disputed, Zocdoc allegedly retaliated by restricting visibility and terminating their account. One detailed BBB complaint from a psychiatric practice in New York laid it all out. They followed Zocdoc's instructions to the T, had virtual assistants call for training, and still got penalized for high cancellations. The owner called it predatory and retaliatory, and multiple providers have said the same thing. Zocdoc's public policy says they waive fees for good faith cancellations, but in practice, it feels like the fees are non-refundable no matter what. There's also the 2020 lawsuit drama from former CEO Cyrus Masumi, alleging an elaborate series of lies around the 2015 CEO change. Zocdoc called it meritless, and the case was eventually dismissed in court, but it added to the perception that the company had some internal struggles during its turnaround. On the patient side, complaints are lighter, but still exist. Long wait times for certain specialties, difficulty canceling, or frustration when a booked doctor isn't actually taking their insurance. The 2025 report itself admits patients hate calling offices and often give up if they can't reach someone. Zocdoc fixes part of that, but the back-end friction with providers sometimes leaks through to patients. And a much problem I've been seeing rise up here and there is the amount of people who try to use Zocdoc just to get easy drugs, mainly Adderall. And while Zocdoc itself obviously can't prescribe anything, it can link you with doctors and physicians who can. So I mean, who's to say there's not some dirty doctors there? There probably is in every hospital. However, none of this has been enough to slow Zocdoc down. They're still growing fast. But it paints a picture of a company that's aggressive about revenue and sometimes leaves smaller practices feeling squeezed. So how does Zocdoc stack up against competitors like Vosita and Nexhealth? All three are in the provider discovery plus booking space, but Zocdoc plays at a different scale. Vosita and Nexhealth are more focused on white label solutions. They power booking directly for individual practices or smaller groups, often with deeper EHR integrations and more customizable dashboards. They're great for practices that want full control without being part of the big marketplace. Zocdoc, on the other hand, is the 800-pound gorilla. It has a massive consumer-facing marketplace with millions of monthly users, insane brand recognition, and now the ability to power booking for other big sites like Healthgrades. Their 175 plus calendar integrations give them huge reach, and the 2025 report shows they're delivering real patient growth for large medical groups. Trade-off? Zocdoc's model can feel less flexible for tiny practices, and the complaints we saw earlier don't seem as common with the smaller competitors. Vosita and Nexhealth market themselves as more practice first, while Zocdoc is very much a patient first marketplace, with providers' growth as an upside. Right now, Zocdoc wins on scale and consumer mindshare, but the smaller players are carving out the "we actually listen to the doctors" niche. So where does Zocdoc go from here? Our own 2025 patient report gives us some big clues. Patients are turning to AI as a starting point for care questions, but they still crave real connections with their doctors. Terms like comfortable, caring, and great hands are still top words in 5-star reviews. So Zocdoc is leaning more into that, being more transparent with performance metrics, adjustable growth tactics for groups, and making booking feel effortless. Also expanding the partner ecosystem, powering booking for other big platforms, adding more telehealth, and focusing on measurable ROI for large medical groups. The report predicts continued growth in self-pay, self-care treatments like Botox and aesthetics and stuff, and women 18 to 44 staying the dominant bookers. Long term though, Zocdoc wants to be the infrastructure layer for how America finds and books care. Not just one app, but the engine behind many. If they can keep fixing the provider side friction while delivering that patient growth, they're positioned to keep dominating. They'll have to navigate those billing complaints and keep proving that they're true partners to doctors, not just a middleman taking a cut. The healthcare system in America is broken in a lot of ways. We all know that. And Zocdoc is one of the few companies trying to fix the "how do I even get seen" part. Whether they become the default or get disrupted by someone more doctor-friendly is the big question for 2026 and beyond. Looking back, Zocdoc's story is a classic startup roller coaster. Brilliant idea, massive growth, a painful pivot, profitability, and now infrastructure level ambition. They've made booking a doctor way less painful for millions of patients, especially young women who have become healthcare's power users. But complaints from smaller practices show there's still friction in the system they built. It's a reminder that even companies trying to fix healthcare can create new problems along the way. Still, when you look at those numbers, 56,000 new patients for some groups in 2023, all that real-time booking on Healthgrades, and the millions of appointments they facilitated, it's really hard to deny its impact. But what do you think? Is Zocdoc making healthcare better? Or is it just another middleman trying to make more money off of us? Have you ever used it? Do you have any horror stories or any success stories? If you do, drop it in the comments. I love reading them and interacting with you guys and learning more about this stuff. And if you want more deep dives into apps or companies like this, then make sure to like and subscribe so more of these videos pop up on your homepage and subscription feed. And remember, anything can be special. It's just how you look at it. Peace out.